Oh my goodness. Welcome back to MLive's Dungeon of Doom podcast. I am Ben Raven. He is Kory Woods. The Lions win 38-30 in Baltimore on Monday Night Football. So much to talk about. So much went right for the Lions, man. Kory, let's hear it.
Well, I mean, over the first couple of weeks, well, not the first couple of weeks, they were talking about that, hey, we need to go ahead and fix these communication errors after that week one loss. And then, week two comes, they play a Bears team. Everybody kind of is in agreement that this Bears team is not up to par. So, okay, let's see what's going to happen. And again, we talked about this on our mailbag podcast that this is going to be the true litmus test of if those communication errors are fixed. I think today's performance would say that things are looking okay right now with the Lions. It was just for me, it was just about how are they going to come out and play. I don't think anybody's going to be mad if they lost, but they want to see how they came out and play. But they didn't come out and just win the game. They came out and looked really good doing it. Just they played sound, efficient football on both sides. And, got only thing I would say that was an issue for me today would be the secondary. That was the one where when I finish my grades, they're probably going to get the harshest of everybody. But I mean, aside from that, it's one of those performances where you're nitpicking if you're trying to find something wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, for all the crowd that was like, oh, they scored 52 points, whoop-de-doo, it was on the Chicago Bears. They stood in the middle of the ring and threw haymaker back and forth to haymaker, counterpunch to counterpunch in this game tonight. I mean, a 98-yard touchdown drive with 18 plays, a 96-yard touchdown drive in 7 plays. I mean, they lost the field position battle all night long, it seemed like, and yet it didn't matter because the offense was firing on all cylinders. David Montgomery, career high 151 yards and 2 touchdowns. Gibbs 67 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not his most efficient game, but you'll take that every day of the week. And Jared Goff, man, game on the line, 4th and 2, coming out of the 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter. They don't just go for it near midfield. They take a shot and they put the ball in the hands of Goff, and he put the ball in the hands of Amon-Ra St. Brown, the two most trusted playmakers on this team. And that's I mean, the big time players made all the big time plays. The Hutch forced fumble, 7 frickin' sacks from the defense, man. Just really impressive performance, honestly, on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the 7 sacks that they got on Lamar Jackson is not only the most sacks it not only tied the most sacks against Lamar in the game, it tied the most sacks the Ravens have ever allowed in a game. For one, that was just really impressive because throughout the week there was concerns about, the pass rush. How are they going to slow down Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
And that's what we talked about. We just said, hey, you're not going to stop Lamar Jackson. The only thing you can hope to do is slow him down. And that's what they did. He still got 3. He still passed for 3 touchdowns. He still tossed 3 of them, but they slowed him down and frustrated him the entire game. And I just can't even remember seeing Lamar frustrated like that. I mean, Al-Quadin Muhammad stepped up big, 2.5 sacks. I mean, can't say enough about him.
Man.
Aiden Hutchinson got another sack, but again, that punch out on King Henry, timely. They just made plays. I mean, they could have had a couple of takeaways. I mean, the Brian Branch one, he just missed that one. And then DJ Reed had a gimme from that trick play that they tried to run with Derrick Henry. I mean, he should have brought that one down. But again, it's so many positives in this game that really point out. But I mean, yeah, just the way they were able to frustrate Lamar, to me, that's going to be I think all the talking heads who picked against them, that has to be their talking point tomorrow, was how was the job the Lions did against Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and as someone who picked against the Lions, I'll just come out and say it.
Same here.
The pass rush. Yeah, exactly. We'll own it. I mean, they came out and it was kind of like that Bears game where they like answered all of their weaknesses. I mean, holy crap, man. The pass rush, 1 sack in the first half. You get 6 sacks in the second half from every which way too, like we said needed to happen. The linebackers, I think they had 3 or 4 linebackers with a sack. Hutchinson, Muhammad, man, I'll say this. He wasn't on the field in the first quarter, and I'm sitting in the press box like, what the hell is going on? Like, no offense to Pat O'Connor, no offense to Tyler Lacey, but I'm like, where the hell's Muhammad? And then he comes in on the field. He's part of that big goal line stand late in the first half, and then he just freaking came alive in the second half. It's just a reminder that like he's a 30-year-old guy that's played for a couple different teams, had one big breakout season, but then spent a year on a practice squad before he got his chance in Detroit. And just, he fits what they're about. He is the type of high effort player that they believe in. And when Aiden Hutchinson is getting so much attention, and when DJ Reader is playing like the way he was on the interior defensive line tonight, he can win those one-on-ones. I mean, he proved it tonight. I mean, we, we were so concerned about the pass rush, and I still am moving forward. But like,
Yeah,
it does sound like the Marcus Davenport situation is best case scenario. Strained pack, or right? Isn't that what NFL Network called it? A strained pack.
yeah,
I
straight pack.
mean,
Yeah.
he's going to miss at least 4 games, including tonight. So we'll see moving forward. But like, I don't know, man. I think Kelvin Shepard really flashed his ability to manufacture pressure, to put his guys in the right spot. Because after the game, Lamar talked about how the Lions really were stunting their defensive line, moving pieces around, and he dropped that word that AG hates the most, spy. Spy. He said that spy was there. That spy was grabbing my leg like every time, and it worked. I mean, it worked. I mean, I'm just so impressed. And we haven't even really talked about the offense yet, but like we had to talk about the defense because the Ravens, yeah, they scored 30 points. They scored 40 plus in their first 2 games, but like they just kind of, the defense just, like I said, counterpunch for counterpunch. They deserve all the credit in the world. I think Henry only had 14 rushing yards after the first drive, which just, man, I'm really impressed with Kelvin Shepard tonight. Like you said, I think the one weakness that did come to light was the secondary, mainly Terrion Arnold. I've given Terrion a lot of leeway. I like the way he plays. I think he has a ton of talent. But if you hit him with a double move in one-on-one coverage and man coverage, he looks lost sometimes. That pass to Devontae Walker, I I have rarely seen a cornerback take that angle when they get beat like that. And just the pass interference, I mean, he's really cleaned that up over the last back half of last season and this year. But 7 pass interference calls, tied for most in the NFL since his career started. He's out there every play on an island. They trust him, but that was the one really negative takeaway tonight is like, man, Terrion's got to get it together. Like, he's got to get it together.
Yeah, because I think that if he does not, teams are looking at that and they're gonna know like, hey, we can, hey, DJ Reed needs to pick up too, but at least with Terrion, they can look at him and go like, hey, we can target this guy because he's gonna mess up at some point. He's either gonna bite on the wrong move or he's gonna get a little bit too handsy, and we're gonna pick up a flag off of it. That is something that for as well as the defense has played in back-to-back weeks, even if you want to say as well as they played, cleaning up some of those errors towards the end of the Packers game, that is something that they're going to have to get a grasp on quickly because you, I, I just don't know. I just don't know how long you can trust him out there and continue to get exposed like that.
Yeah, and if it continues, I mean, Amik has proven that he can play outside cornerback, and I don't know if you got to get him out there on certain looks. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not waving the white flag on him at all. It's year 2, ton of talent, but like teams are going to go after that. Like you said, teams are going after that. And the one thing that I've been like, man, the safeties are lining up deep. The safeties are so deep. Ravens got a couple 15 to 20 yard passes on that, but like Lamar credited that as something that really helped the Lions get to him, get those 7 sacks and make pressure. He's like, I can't just sit there and throw a Hail Mary ball. They got 2 or 3 safeties deep. And hey, credit to them. But yeah. I mean, if we're not going to even spend too much time on the negatives because this was an amazing statement win, an instant classic freaking game. It's 2:20 in the morning, Tuesday. I'm still at M&T Bank Stadium here in Baltimore. Found a little quiet room, so I thought to record. But like, man, I just everybody on that defense really the adjustments, man. That's the thing that I was really focusing on. The adjustments that they made after the second half, how they clamped down on Henry, and how I mean Hutchinson said they just they just started running straight and tried to beat their guys, and that's exactly what happened. And you saw it. You saw it come from Jack Campbell. You saw it come from Anzalone. You saw it come from Nowoski. You saw it come from Barnes. That's what we talked about earlier this week. Is like, how can Barnes and Nowoski add to this pass rush depth with Davenport likely headed injured reserve?
They had made some great tackles. I mean, just clutch ones. Like when I was just shocked at like how they were able to get some of them. Like the one shoestring tackle, if you
Oh,
just can call it on up from Barnes. That was just like that was money.
yeah, Reader shoestring on Jackson too, man. Oh my goodness, I was like, oh wow, he's going around that right edge. And DJ Reader dives and gets him. I mean, I think DJ Reader told Justin Rogers he's one of the 50 best athletes on the planet after the game. So they were having some fun. It was interesting, and I just hats off to Kelvin Shepard. Hats off to the defense. It is not easy to play Lamar Jackson. It is not easy to play Derrick Henry, and it's unheard of to get 7 sacks. And I know Henry's fumbled in every game this season, but like it's still like jarring to see Superman's shield start to crack a little bit. I mean, just unbelievable. I mean, because like I said, the Lions lost the field position battle all night. That defense was not put in prime positions all night long, and they weathered the storm. They got better as the game went on, and that's all you can freaking ask for.
And this is an important win because I mean you can't take for granted these next couple of wins. You know, these next couple of games coming up, thinking that the Browns and the Bengals are automatic wins. But that said, those are winnable. Those should be winnable games. And this was the one that people were worried about how this defense is going to look on the road going into Baltimore. And I mean, look, Kelvin Shepard, he's going to be here for. I think if he continues to coach like that, he's going to be here for a while. But for right now, I know they have like a 24-hour rule in Allen Park. He has the right to feel as great as he wants to feel about himself because I believe that teams are going to study how the Lions played Lamar tonight. I mean, they got a game coming up with the Chiefs, and the loser of that game is going to be like, think what, 1-3. So, I mean, which is insane to think about. So that's going to be a game that I believe the Chiefs are going to have on the clicker. What did the Lions do? How did they do it? And again, hats off to Kelvin Shepard. He devised a heck of a game plan. The guys followed through with it, and so on to the next one. For at least for them, yeah.
Yeah, and Jack Campbell, man, playing with like half of his face bandaged up. He took a cleat to the face. Yeah, I was at the podiums with Campbell, Goff, Montgomery, and Hutchinson and Campbell, but like I think it was Rich Silva, the Detroit News, told me that Jack Campbell was talking about like maybe not even stitches, might need like plastic surgery. He was like so cut up. I mean, he looked like a that was a old school linebacker look, and he played his tail off. I mean, seriously, the Lions got punched in the face on that first Baltimore drive. You know, Branch bit hard on the play action, the first play of the game. Anzalone runs into Pat O'Connor's back. Campbell gets frozen in the hole as Henry runs in for that big touchdown. But man, the adjustments. Henry finished with 50 yards rushing on only 12 attempts. Jackson had 35 yards and 7 attempts. I mean, the biggest play they gave up was a 37-yard pass to Justice Hill, and I think that was pretty late in the game, like when it was a 2-score game, if I remember correctly. So, like, whatever the Lions did today on defense, they need to keep doing that, especially against mobile quarterbacks. Like, this was the toughest test that I think they had on the entire schedule of the entire year, not just Lamar, but the Ravens and John Harbaugh and Henry. And I know the Ravens were without 2 big guys on the defensive line, but like what Detroit's defense did today, that is something to build off. That's a statement. That's a freaking statement. And you know what else was a statement? Was what that freaking offense did today. And that's a perfect segue into the offense. The 2 95-yard plus drives. The Ravens hadn't given up a 95 plus yard touchdown drive in Baltimore since 2001. And the Lions had 2 of them today. 2 of them.
The way they just moved that ball down the field was just something. I think that first one, they took up most of the second quarter.
10
They
minutes,
just
48 seconds.
they just drained I mean, that was a clinic. I know, and again, I know both sides. I know they had to be exhausted when they got back, but I mean, the Lions. That's a drive to be proud of. That's a drive where you just imposed your will, and one of those key guys on that offense for me, and he was key on that drive too. If I'm not mistaken, is Sam Laporta. I mean, throughout the game, three of his four receptions, those came on third downs. He was big throughout the game. Um, Jared Goff just it wasn't one of those games where it was just like it wasn't the 5 touchdown performance, but it was surgical. It was darts. It was laser throws. Had a couple he would probably definitely say, "Hey, I would probably want some of those back." But I mean, for the most part, he was just clutch. He did what he had to do, and he showed he had a command of that offense. That one touchdown throw to St. Brown, and then just the stones to even go for it on that 4th and 2. I'm like, that he put both of those passes to St. Brown. He put it perfectly where only Saint could get it. And what can you say about Goff?
Yeah, no, for sure. No, for sure. I mean, he was clutch on third down. They were 3 for 3 on fourth down. That 18 play drive, they had 8 first downs. They ran the ball 13 times, which was the most since 2000. Most rush attempts on a touchdown drive since 2000 per the Associated Press. And then to open the second half, I think they go 96 yards on 7 plays where David Montgomery goes 72 yards. I mean, Montgomery, man, don't forget about David Montgomery. I know Jahmyr Gibbs is a superstar. I know he's one of the freaking best offensive players on the face of the earth. But David Montgomery, 12 carries, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns. Had the double pass where he threw it back to Goff on the big play to St. Brown, and just when this back 38 carries for the backfield today, 224 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns from Montgomery and Gibbs apiece. When the running game and the offensive line, shout out Christian Mahogany. Obviously, haven't watched it back, but I thought he was awesome tonight. That offensive line, man, Goff did not get sacked, got hit only 4 times. And the interior blocking on the inside runs. I mean, the Lions saw a weakness on the Ravens front, and they hit it, and they hit it hard.
Over and over. I mean, they just straight up gashed them, man. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's you know what, I'm gonna give a credit to John Morton because he they did throw some trick plays in there, but the one thing that I liked is that you kept it simple, stupid. He did not try to get cute. He went with what was working and he did it over and over again and said, we're going to keep on being as physical and jamming the ball down you guys' throat until you do something about it. And it was like a slowly on those long drives, they just slowly picked them apart and drained the clock. It's one of those, it's now the performance is like, okay, I think we can now say that the Lions offense is going to be just fine because, as Ben likes to remind us, this is Dan Campbell's offense, and whoever he has in that OC seat is going to run his offense. That right there was a Dan Campbell offense tag.
It was, and it proved that John Morton can fit in with Campbell's aggressive style. I mean, the double pass, you hand it off. I believe you hand it off to Montgomery. He throws it back to Goff. He hits St. Brown. The next play, St. Brown catches the touchdown and drops a whole bunch of F-bombs and bad, naughty words on the television broadcast. But like, then you open the fourth quarter. It's 4th and 1 at the 4-yard line. First play of the fourth quarter, man. Like, that's a big moment. And what do they run? They got St. Brown in the backfield. And Goff hands it to St. Brown, takes it outside. The defense bites down on St. Brown. He pitches to the outside, and Gibbs takes it in for the score. I loved what St. Brown had to say after the game on that. He said that's like that's a play they've been Goff and St. Brown said that's something they've been working on for a couple of years. Never got called in a game. St. Brown said he turned and said, "Bro, we're not going to run this play." Or somebody said to St. Brown, "We're not going to run this play this week." And St. Brown says, "Just because you said that, I guarantee we run that call this week." And they did, and they ran it to perfection. And you got to see Johnny Moe's creativity as offensive coordinator. I think maybe when you get used to calling plays for Dan Campbell, you realize that everything's on the table. And I mean, we have to talk about the 4th and 2 call that put the game away. What are you thinking when they're lining up for that at home?
I'm thinking, okay, Gibbs is on the sideline. Okay, we're about to get Demo up the middle and just see what happens. Soon as that ball gets snapped, I'm like, no way they're gonna throw this. And I just see St. Brown make the move and the motion and cut up like, wow. It was like in slow motion. And I'm like, the guts on Dan Campbell to call that play when he did. But again, this is also why players love Dan Campbell. This is why he's never going to lose his locker room, because in games like that, in moments like that, he trusts his players to make a play. It took me when they made that play, it wasn't as a long of a play, but it took me back to the wild card game with the Rams and the Lions at Ford Field when they dialed it up for on that play for Goff to St. Brown, and he picked it up and they iced the game out. That's kind of what it took me back to as far as that level of trust, is just knowing like, hey, we know we have to win this game. We got to steal possessions. We got to steal moments, and you put it in your two of your best players' hands to go make a play and bring it home. And what did that do? That set up another Demo touchdown right after. So if that play doesn't work, oh, you're hearing about it the next day. But guess what? It worked, and now you're still going to be hearing about it the next day, but with a different tone.
Yeah, it wasn't. I know. Probably. I mean, I expected them to go for it. It wasn't surprising, but I do think we take it for granted how gutsy that was. I mean, it was 4th and 2. I believe it was the 49-yard line. You're at midfield coming out of the 2-minute warning. It's a one-score game. It's 31-24. The Ravens have all 3 timeouts. If you don't get that, if something goes wrong, if that ball hits the turf, if Goff gets sacked, the Ravens are once again taking over prime field position. About 2 minutes on the clock, 3 timeouts in a 1 touchdown game. I mean, that is aggression defined. And like you said, not only was it not Gibbs, not only was it not a run, not only was it a short pass, but Goff, play action. You need perfect blocking. You need him to stay on his feet. You need St. Brown to get open. Obviously, he's in one-on-one coverage. He gets open through defensive holding, makes the catch over his shoulder, just like that. Boom. 20-yard play. All of a sudden, Montgomery goes 31 yards to the house for the touchdown, 38-24, and that was all she wrote. I mean, the Lions took away Baltimore's chance to tie that game and send it to overtime, and that is what we talk about when we talk about Dan Campbell's aggressiveness, taking away possessions, slamming the door shut, slamming the door shut when you have a chance. I mean, that is trust in your players. That not just Goff and St. Brown. Trust in your offensive line. It's trust in everybody else. It's trust in your second and third options, and it's trust in your offensive coordinator to dial up the right spot. And I asked Goff about that play after the game, and he's like, we were waiting to call that play and take that shot all game long, and coming out of the 2-minute warning was just the perfect chance because, like you and me, the Ravens were obviously probably thinking they were going to run the ball.
And I mean, and also too, you see, at least in my mind, I'm thinking that Dan Campbell is like, if we put this ball back in Lamar Jackson's hands, there's a good chance he's going to march down this field. And they still did. But again, you had that buffer because you went ahead and went for it and you converted it. And then right after you got the touchdown. So I think it's also just Dan recognizing the moment like, hey, this is a team that we have played hard in the past couple of years. We have not been able to beat them. I mean, but just wrote it, so of course I know it. That was their first time beating the Ravens since 2009. 5. And that was their first road win against the Ravens since the name change.
Which is just crazy. Oh man.
So so you have to go in that moment when you're on the road, you're trying to see what your team is about. You do not want to go down 1-2. You need a statement win. This is the game that you got to go out there and put it in your guys' hands and say, "Hey, we need you to go make plays. We need you to go win the game." And that to me is not just a statement win. That is a locker room building win. That's a win that you can build off of and kind of ride that wave and through into the bye week.
I mean, statement win, and it also completely erases the terrifying memories of the opener in Green Bay because it was loud here. It's prime time. It's Monday Night Football. It was filled with pressure moment. Sorry, after pressure moment, and there were no communication issues. I mean, I visibly saw the offensive line. I mean, it was like a game of telephone when it would get loud. You would see the left tackle talk to the left guard, talk to the center, talk to the right guard, talk to the right tackle. You would see Goff get them out of a play and telephone go up and down the line. And I mean, it's what we've been talking about. It's what they've been talking about. It's just as simple as being loud and not snapping that ball and making sure everyone's on the same page. And the one thing I noticed tonight, the Lions were not shy about using their timeouts when they needed it too. So I think they have really, you're never going to perfectly fix something, but I think that they have, once again, master of adjustments, not just play calling, not just offensive strategy, not just finding a pass rush for different sources, but like, what was your greatest weakness in week 1? The offensive line miscommunication. You have found a way to simplify it. Like they said, they took things off of people's plates. They emphasized it. They practiced it with as much noise as you can manufacture in Allen Park as possible.
Yeah.
And it came to life tonight, man. I just, they're 2-1. I think everybody on the face of the earth, the whole ESPN crew, the whole MLive crew, most people on the face of the earth had them losing this game. Yeah, me too. Hand up. And it wasn't doubting the Lions. It's just, this Ravens team is legit. Every season I think this team has the goods to win the Super Bowl. I mean, Lamar is unbelievable. He is a magician. Derrick Henry is still a very good football player. They've got some great perimeter weapons, a great offensive line, a great defense. I mean, and they're as well coached as you get. So feel good about this win because your 2 new coordinators came in here. Your new look offensive line came in here and they showed the heck out, man. They showed the heck out. I mean, this really was 2-1 going into a game against the Cleveland Browns and then a trip to Cincinnati against Jake Browning in the Bengals. You needed this. You needed this, especially with the freaking Packers losing to the Browns on blocked kick madness yesterday. Just like that, guess what? Packers are 2-1. You're 2-1. They got the first head and head. You get another chance at them down the line. That is how you correct things. That is how you get the train back on the tracks. And I mean, it started last week with that domination of the Bears, and it just continued here in Baltimore. I mean, this is a gutsy, impressive statement win where you took every blow possible for 60 minutes and had an answer for every challenge and every time you were backed up against the wall.
It was a character win. It's showing that we can go against the elite teams and perform. And not just perform, we can go in their building and beat them. That's what they need to do. And they did that, and I believe it's just something that they can hang their hats on and continue to build on until the next week. And I just think they cannot they cannot take the gas off the pedal when the Browns come into town. Don't play down to their level, but I mean, I don't know how much more you can just glorify an all-around performance just like that. Again, like I said, the only thing you can really say negative about this game was the secondary play. There's some things they got to fix with that, but aside from that, it's just like you look from top to bottom. Everybody did their job.
Yeah, no, everybody did their job. I mean, this was such a freaking awesome game too. I mean, this game delivered. Oh man.
Oh, it was a great. Rarely do Monday night football games or these Thursday night football games, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're stinkers. For everything, this was an entertaining game from start to finish.
Yeah, next week's Monday night game is Jets Dolphins. So, this is, I mean, this is what people expect when they watch Monday Night Football. Two of the best teams in the league. Everyone else has already played. Everyone in the football world is watching you. Pre-game shows are on the sideline. Celebs are in attendance. The lights are down. The crowd is packed. They're bringing out good bands at halftime. The light shows are unbelievable. It's louder than heck. And man, trust in Dan Campbell, baby. I've said it 1,000 times. As long as Dan Campbell is running this show, this franchise is going to be more than okay. I mean, more than okay.
For the fans, if you guys have any doubts about Dan Campbell, don't, because his players believe in him. And as long as his players believe in him, that's all that matters. They fight and they run through brick walls for this guy. So if you have your doubts, just cast them to the side and just take it week by week. That has been the Dan Campbell experience. Just roll with it.
I didn't know an NFL locker room could be like this. I didn't know an NFL franchise could really build a culture and be on the same page and believe in their head coach and their starting quarterback as much as this team does and as much as Dan Campbell does with his team. I mean, it really, so many people talk about building culture, sustaining culture, but not many people can do it. And when you trust your players and your star players play as well as they do and work as hard as these star players do, because that Hutchinson forced fumble on Henry, that was the utmost high effort of plays possible. And you see that from Jack Campbell with his face falling off with a bandage on his face, and guys like Trevor Nowaski just making season debuts and going out there. Oh man.
You know who's also an unsung hero for me in this game? Jamison Williams. On that 31-yard run by David Montgomery, his run blocking that's one thing you'll know about J-Mo. If he's out there and these guys are running, he's gonna get out there and throw some blocks, and just his physicality out there in that last little bit just freed him up to be able to go in there and punch it in.
J-Mo ain't scared. J-Mo ain't scared of nothing.
Oh, is right there? Is J-Mo right there?
I'm pointing at Rich Silva. Oh. They're on the other side of the glass, probably waiting for me to be done yelling. But all right, guys, it's almost 3 a.m. Gotta go.
Yeah,
gotta go write a column and some other stuff. But I gotta be honest, man. Sometimes you feel the sleepless night ahead, but this game, this environment, the way the Lions played, I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew and loving it. I mean, that was
I am too. I'm like I said, it's 2:42 and I don't really feel tired. It's like I want to go back and look at more clips. I want to go back and see, like, okay, where did I miss something at that? Probably I should, ask some questions about later, because it was just such a good game.
Yeah, man. It was. I mean, that was an instant classic. Dan Campbell flexing that muscle, pure onions on full display. 38-30 Lions. They're 2-1. They host the Browns next weekend. Don't overlook the Browns. Great defense. Just beat the Packers. Nothing's a gimme in the NFL, but that's a very good situation to be 2 weeks removed from that ugly, ugly opener.
And I just said it, I know you got to get out of here, but I just said it on talking to a couple of friends, just like, week one, they just got hit with a buzzsaw. That's what it just looks like right now. They weren't giving coach speak. They said, hey, these things can get fixed. And I said, even if they did lose tonight, the communication looked a lot better. The chemistry looked better. And now you're seeing a team that is, again, I don't think they're going to hit their stride till after the bye week, because they're still learning each other. They're still learning Johnny Mo. They're still learning Kelvin Shepherd in his new role, not as a person, but in his new role. So,
I mean, you saw it. The playbook has opened up. The aggression has opened up. You see growth. You saw growth last week. You saw more growth this week against a legit team like that. And there's no sugarcoating that one. That is the definition of a statement freaking win right there. And we'll be back with our midweek mailbag podcast on Thursday, so we'll be reaching out for questions. But I'm Ben Raven, he's Kory Woods, and we are your MLive Dungeon of Doom podcast.